Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. Happy, beautiful, blessed Friday. This is Giving It To You Straight. I am Miss Marie, and I'm so grateful and thankful for all of you. Let's set that frequency. Let's tap into the great, powerful, divine spirit of all there is, the divine. What are you grateful for today, my beautiful people? It is the weekend, right? We consider today the weekend. So I just want to begin with a deep gratitude for each and every one of you. Your presence, of course, here is not random, it is aligned. So thank you for your openness and your curiosity, your willingness to grow here. Thank you for sharing your time, your energy, and your trust with me. This, of course, sacred space exists because of your and mine. I'll share intentions to evolve, to awaken, to love more consciously. I honor the journey each of you is on, and I honor the courage that it takes to seek truth. And I'm grateful, of course, that our paths have crossed in this moment. May what we build here continue to nourish and uplift each and every one of you and expand us all. Your support is felt, your energy matters, and I thank you deeply with humility, grateful and thankful. Yes, I am. Thank you all, Tri Family, with this inner kindred circle. I thank you. And yeah, unity, love, and the unseen that bind us all, that glue, that cohesive. And I thank you all for the support and what you share here, okay? And so let's extend our spirits. Thank you so much. Now, Mystic Love Oracles for each and every one of you. Zodiac, my beautiful zodiac signs, my beautiful family. Let's go ahead here with the Mystic Love Oracles. Today is February 20th. Happy birthday, Pisces. Happy birthday, Pisces. We are going to look into the Mystic Love Oracles. We got What's the Tea. If you want anything else, ask your question. Love, finances, relationship, career. You carefully choose your path. One more. Pisces 2. Aries. Here we go. Well, we're going to begin with Pisces and then we're going to end it with Aquarius. It is the season of Pisces, and we already know that the beautiful sign of, Venus, harmonious energy has entered your first house. So that represents deep, romantic, compassionate, spiritual approach to love, where this affection is exalted, of course, to be raised up, placed in a position of high honor and power expression. Let's go ahead. One more. Pisces through Aquarius. Wow. And thank you. All right, here we go. We are ready. We are going to move with this love energy. Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. I'm going to find you. Social media keeping tabs, Pisces. Either you're keeping tabs or your person is keeping tabs for today. All right? So, single, alone. So, what's to happen? Oh, you could be with somebody. All right, the bottom line is social media keeping tabs. Somebody's still keeping tabs on you. You're keeping tabs on them. Checking, and checking. Do I say something? Well, let's go ahead to missing you and thinking of you. And this is for Aries. No second chances. Taurus. Okay, so it feels like the novelty has faded. A lot of times when we get this energy, all that new, that experience of something unfamiliar and different, from what you're used to. So a lot of times when you get this energy, it's the feeling of this exciting, when it feels, I never felt this before. Hey, Duncan Brooks, hey. Hey, Father. How are you? Uh, Gemini, you taking a chance in love here. Okay, the nine of clubs. It's the nine of wands, the queen of diamonds. All right, wanting something more real, something more grounded, something more, safe. Hey, Sandra. Hey, Sandra. That's my best friend's name, Sandra. Hey, Sandra. What's the tea? We already know we're gonna have to what's the tea. Go ahead and show some love. Go ahead and show some love. Put some fire, some tea. Hot, hot, hot. Put some little hearts there. Let's get this reading and this energy. Watch your back. Watch your back, Cancer. All right, you have a little enemy there, Cancer. Okay. Addiction and unhealthy attachments. Leo. Leo, unhealthy attachments. Virgo, unexpected, all of a sudden. All right, this is a good. When it comes to love, either you're gonna find out something today. All right, you're gonna catch somebody on the act, or you could just get this sudden urge to just get out of your comfort zone. Something magical. Rock, hail Satan. What is Satan? What is that rock? Are you are you the Satan? Go find something to do with your time. Go find out. Go educate yourself. Go find out what the Satan. Oh boy, oh boy. Here we go. Let's go ahead to that was oh Virgo and Libra. Intimacy. Intimacy. Libra. Regrets and mistakes. Hi from Sandra. Hi Sandra. Sandra Torres, ¿cómo está, Miss Torres? ¿Cómo está? Regrets and mistakes for you, Scorpio. Somebody made a lot of mistakes, either you or your person, Sagittarius. And I'm sorry, an apology coming in. If you've been expecting an apology, it's coming. Whole inner growth for you, Capricorn. And so no silence, no contact, Aquarius. And we are done. Okay. As we look at all this energy here, what's love got to do with it? A lot. Because love is a decision that you made, right? That is held over time. So we're going to look a little bit about emotions versus love, what it is, why do I have it? A lot of people are not showing their true selves. We are scared of being vulnerable. And yeah, people really got to educate themselves when they, let me get that energy out of here. Hiding behind the screens, trying to not be educated. Well, I'll educate you here. All right. Go ahead with that low vibrational energy. Uh, Let me just hide this person. I'm just sick of it. All right, there we go. Let's move forward. Every day is a lesson. You got that right. Let's go ahead with the questions. If you have any questions, come on in. What does it look like? I'm going to talk a little bit about novelty because a lot of us are or would be affected or are affected when I see that Four Cups. So just sharing a little bit more knowledge, expanding and understanding and respecting your values, your boundaries, and how you won't compromise your beliefs for approval or for a connection. If you need honesty and transparency, all right, how does your relationship looks like? Amber feeling what am I going to soda? Samaikanwa. Amber's feelings to Sama. Sama about going to Sadia. Hi, 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 Samia. All right. So what is your question? Do they love you? Do they have feelings? Go ahead and give that boom, 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 boom. Let's see your honesty. If you want reciprocity, if you want to experience love and express it, if you into that mutual connection, you don't leave your core beliefs, the things that you held so importantly, honesty. All right. If you want some devotion, if you want somebody to tell you the truth, why are you carrying around so much secrecy? So understanding, if I want the truth, I got to be honest with myself. So this is what it's all about. How do I communicate calmly and clearly? I won't tolerate certain things, what happens in the heat of the moment. Skiing or snowboarding. All right. Nobody has any questions? Nobody has question. Everybody's been burned by the love bug. So anyway, when we get novelty, let me see what if we get the 4 cups, because that goes into the novelty. When things start getting bored, when they're not exciting, you know, you understand that one thing, that novelty activates the brain's reward system, that dopamine, and it creates curiosity, anticipation, excitement, and heightened attention. So understanding a little bit of that. Sending love to you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So understanding that your brain pays more attention to what is new. Okay. Understanding that your brain pays attention to it. And what does it look like in relationships? All right. So, but what happens when the novelty dies? That means that something more honest begins. Okay. When something more honest begins, it gets boring. How do I create new pathways, new neural networks in my brain? What do I do with, yeah, so we're going to tap into a little bit of that. Love and light to you. Hey, Fazuli. King of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, something grounded in real water, and of course, earth. It makes things solid, all right? Having the capacity and, of course, spirit and matter together here. How do I keep this connection from going to either side when I choose, right? Anticipation, okay? A lot of us are living in anticipation, what it could be, instead of really, right, moving towards the thing, because you're there, you're here, all right? So this energy always stays in anticipation, waiting, 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 letting things so true. Like, when do I anchor this? When do I make this real? A lot of inspiration, all right, to feel and inspire, to have that capacity to hold these two polarities, all right, and to make it emerge. It's just with integrity. All right. So anyway, something that feels electrifying, you know. Let's go ahead. 5 of Pentacles. All right. And one more. The Knight of. So the only thing that's missing here, because before we get resolution, before we get any resolution, we're gonna be in this tension. Before we see any resolution, it has to be no resolution, no evolution. Okay, so understanding that conflict is part of relationships. Not everything is gonna be so grand, so beautiful all the time. Understanding that you're gonna have differences of opinions, right? But through this, you know, indifferences, bringing them together, merging. And this could be a struggle here for some of you, to really show emotion, because he's fully armor. Understanding that, to be vulnerable, leaving this, the clothes or the armor represents, protecting myself from, because the ego wants protection. The ego is going to protect you, because to be vulnerable, to be naked, all right, means that I have to be honest to the truth of what I really, really want. So taking the social armor off, and because, when the lover shows up, they naked. All right, the Wheel of Fortune. There you go. The swords is what we need. And the King of Swords here. All right. So how do I handle competition, conflict when it comes to love here? Anybody has a question? Let me see what else. 6 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and Page of Cups. Nobody has a question? Go ahead. Let's get this started. This is about you. The bottom line is here. When you see this energy here, all right, you can expect things to always go so easy. You can expect that, because there won't be no middle. There will be nothing to really fight for. All right. So conflict always comes before resolution, before you get to this stable energy. Where do you build from, from here? Do you go to me? Do I come to you? I want something real, but I'm ashamed to say it. So did Amber give money to go? Did Amber give money to go to see the ID? I'm not really picking up your energy. All right. Listen, what are the things about it? Let me go ahead. When you go on those first few days, you're discovering somebody's personality, physical chemistry, late night talks, that electricity. Okay, you don't fully know them yet, and that unknown creates an energy, uh, and novelties about right structure. Okay, not necessarily depth. Okay, so spark. Let's go ahead to your question. I don't want nobody coming in later on and asking questions. Saudi, oh, you from Saudi Arabia? To Saudi Arabia? Okay. Let's go ahead. Okay, so I want to know, you gotta put your question. You here knowing? Okay. Let me go to her. Did Amber give money to go? Yes or no? Let's find out here. To perform Umbra. All right, that's you don't have to put any more to perform. I don't even know what he is trying to say, but you're the first person here. Let's go ahead. And then I'm gonna talk to you know a little bit about the Five of Pentacles. When you lose the dopamine, okay, that rewards the brain, that excitement. When it dies down, that's basically what it's saying with the Five of Pentacles. All right, what happened? Okay. Why some people are. I think if we look more into that, I think it's a little bit better. It will help you guys understand. One more. Yes or no? Wait, let me put this back. I don't want my thing to fall. Nobody has love questions? Listen, hopefully by the end of this live, no. I think they're trying to avoid. So no. All right. Yeah, well, yeah, this one says yeah, but this one says no. All right. This is the card of a lot of responsibilities here. Okay. Maybe. I mean, we got two swords here that are already down. I don't know if they got to put the money down. So you could expect anything here. Okay. So let's see what else you get here. I want to go in the middle because I already shuffled the energy for you. All right. Knight of Swords, another Swords. And yeah, but it's not going to be what you want. All right. So you got between Cups and Swords, which is, all right. So maybe not right now, not what you expect right now. Okay. Hey, Rich Positive. Hey, Rich. I also go to perform. What is perform? Should I leave him? Hey, Lisa, leave who? How can I move forward? Just learn. Listen, one thing I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to encourage you to find out a little bit about novelty. I see it here. I haven't really talked about it a lot. All right. Tansuli, you keep talking about who want to know what does Jay feel about me. Let's see what Jay feels about you. All right. So understand what in relationships what novelty can look like. when you go on those first few days, you're discovering something in somebody's personality. If you got a physical chemistry, late night talks that feel electric, okay, and knowing that you're creating energy with a person, all right. And so what happens, you know, when that stimulation, you know, because it's all the novelty is all about stimulating. It's not necessarily being in depth with somebody like the cups. It needs a container, okay? It needs like the Ten of Cups energy. All right. What happens when you get bored? You know, because you understand that when you don't fully know somebody, but you understand that through that unknown, that mystery, you creating an energy. All right. So it's the spark, not the structure. Okay. When it fades, sometimes it confuses people. You know, the calm with boredom, stability with lack of passion, and it's not that. To understand that before you take off to the next person, let's go ahead. One more. Sansuli, Lisa Rollins, my partner. I'll find out what's going on. All right. There's not a lot of people here. I'll give you a quick Celtic. I'll give you a quick Celtic cross. All right. I don't know if I can fit them all in here. All right. But I'll give you a 360. I'll give you an X-ray. I'll give you an X-ray. And understanding in that Celtic cross, we have the virtuous circle behind the cross, and understanding why that's very important. We're gonna look at your energy. Here we go. One more for Taisuli. Yes or no? One more. Thank you. Well, I won't know until I look. Everybody's struggling because we got to understand some things here. We all are struggling, and then you trade your integrity, all right, your dignity, your values for some to connect. You know, communication, clear, and being honest. You know, tarot will liberate you. So you got the Queen of Cups, the Two of Wands, and the Three of Wands for you. So how do I feel? I feel like I want to not kind of nurture, but the emotional side of this. All right. But remember that it represents this is according to the way you treat me. All right. When you get this energy here, Tansuli. All right. They don't have the capacity to hold this. All right. You're holding one. So not having the emotional capacity to hold what it needs to. All right. This is very inspired between inspiration and emotion here. So when it's not grounded in love and rooted in patience, all right, it's it's anticipating here when you get this spark energy, you know, that curious energy, that chemistry, that excitement, that dopamine, fantasy, not possibilities. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't think you understand. All right. Let's go ahead to he does not call me anymore. How long you been waiting for him? But act this in and feel he's with somebody else. Please, thank you. You're welcome. Let's go ahead, Lisa. But act distant, struggling to move forward. Hey, Master Football. Hi. He pretended to love me. Well, that's one thing about it's not pretending, you know. It's that people struggling. Remember, you're struggling and they struggling, okay? Everybody's polarized. Everybody wants to choose one side. When you're not well integrated with these two opposite forces, all right? When you understand the law of polarity and that these two opposing forces, each is incomplete on its own, it creates attraction, conflict, and movement, all right? When it's not when it's not together, merging, all right? All right, this is a lot of inspiration that I see here. All right, if you don't have the capacity to contain these two opposing forces, then you're really wasting your time. Hey, Aries. Hey, Richie. Let's go ahead, Lisa. Let's give you a quick Celtic, however you understand the Druids. All right, bring in the little Druidism. And this is one of the reasons why we have these. Well, not really, because we go back to ancient Egypt. We look at the hieroglyphs. We look at the sarcophagus, what's hidden underneath, what's buried, and that people really not ready to be vulnerable. They leap, they move. They got all these emotions and they emotionally dump. So got to be careful with that energy. All right. Let's go ahead. Lisa. I call him all the time. Right there. Right there. That's the whole problem right there. You're calling too much. All right. Let's look at the challenge. Let's look at the situation, the heart of the matter. And because you've been given this energy in the wrong form, you got to start from here. And then at the bottom, we got the ground. What takes off? What is the outcome? When you're here, you're basically throwing things up in the air. So it's not a very grounded energy. You really got to know a little bit about north, south, east, and west. And how to clean the genetic memory, okay, of your elements. So it's very important. So that's why probably I never really done them like that until fully understand how to hit the ground with both feet and really to embrace uncertainty. The ego doesn't like uncertainty. He wants to know. I want to know now, and so really to be patient with when it comes to love, because love itself is different. It's held over time. It's patience. It's what grows. All right. Having this container. When you see this container, we got to live inside it. We want to be peaceful. We want to celebrate each other, right? When you get the King of Swords, it's a mental kind of energy. It's not an emotional overflow. All right. The relationship is centered around the mind. All right. So understanding logic before and between that and emotion. All right. So there's a lot of things you need to understand. Let's go ahead. I'll be happy again. Happiness is a choice. All right. Hey, Janeki. Hi from nowhere. I'm new here. I'm Aries. I'm just love your energy. Thank you. I love you being here, John. John Moniz. Muniz. Moniz, right? You Espanol? Let's go ahead. Right here. Let's look at the Five of Cups. Always comes out because it's an instability. When you get to this energy, there was supposed to be a marriage. I think they're scared of marriage. This Five of Cups energy is mourning. So it's telling you either to release, to mourn, or to create something new. All right. But what's left here? All right. It's salvageable. All right. This has potential still. All right. So a lot of times this asks, do I release this? All right. Do I grieve it? It's just like it's just like the Three of Swords, but it's at an emotional. You understand me? So we all gonna experience this. We all gonna go through this five. All right. Do I continue? Let's see the challenge. This is a situation. All right. This is not a dramatic loss, but an emotional disappointment. Something that didn't go the way you hope. All right. So you can't move on emotionally. So don't hold on to bitterness. What do I release here? All right. Do I mourn the potential that I've seen in the relationship? Let's see here the challenge. All right. So let me go here to the root of this, right? Because the Knight of Wands, he's very impulse. All right. So you got to come on in, Lisa. All right. Yeah. All right. You just say one night hookup. All right. Because that's what the Fool is saying. All right. You got to really understand this. I don't want to be, I want freedom. So if you want freedom, and you want to be able to be with somebody freedom represents me being my true authentic self, not wearing this armor. This is a lot of armor here, not being able to show vulnerability here. All right. So understanding this connection here. All right. Where is she? You got to come on in. You got to stay with your energy because I'm going to lose it. Come on. There's other people coming in. If you got a question, come on in and ask the question. Did she leave? Let's see what we get here in the past. You work with this person for 10 years. Here the changes. All right, she's cheating on me. All right, we will look at the choice. Let's look at the conscious around this energy. All right. Let's look at the future. Three of Wands, waiting. And And then we're going to go you and them. Okay. The energy here, so what I see here, let me see your external. You think you're done with this? The 3 and the outcome. One more. Yeah, no. Oh, wow. All right, so what I seen here in this whole connection here, all right, having a difficulty, because your energy is the death card, all right? You're refusing to let this go, all right? But you know one thing, can there be life still left here, all right? Because they're showing up here with the energy of wanting somebody that's more reciprocity. There's something here about you're not giving or you giving. Somebody gave too much here, all right? I didn't get the justice card. I would expect the justice card. When the justice card comes up, it's all about getting you guys to recalibration, to restore. All right. So no, I didn't get anything. So this is something new. How long you been with this person? I love him, and does he loves me? Tarot doesn't give you to walk away because the conscious is to move forward here. But listen, these two opposing forces here, each is incomplete on its own. Okay. So what do you do here? This always creates attraction and conflict and movement, but without integration, all right, both poles will remain intact. Neither dominates. Neither capacity gotta appear here. All right. This is refinement. This is not blending the poles into something, though. It's holding the tension long enough for the third state to emerge here. So basically, integrating the polarity rather than choosing one side. I don't think they want to choose something here. All right. So learn paradoxes here. I think that you might come back to this person, all right? I'm gonna leave it there. 10 months. I don't think they're ready to choose one side. What that's what I do is give too much. Yeah. All right. That's what we need to listen. This is when the justice card shows up and it says, hold on a minute, because the justice card is it's about evaluating you know. It's about making things right for you, you know. So when we give impulsively, you know, it's about weighing and to be, you know, reviewing the past. So everything could be, it's about reciprocity at the end of the day. You know, I give love and support, but I expect the same in return. I can always be the emotional caretaker. It has to be mutual when it comes to love, you know. So there are two kinds of people, or three or four. They are givers and they are takers. All right. So you really got to understand that you're probably creating your own. You understand? So you got to really know not to really overextend, overgive, because you're scared to lose a connection. You understand me? So that's really hard because everybody's in the state to survive. You understand me? And so when we understand to survive, a lot of people are not doing things out of out of ill intentions. It's just that they learn how to survive in that way when you look at the shadow side of it. You understand? I don't think people intentionally be like, let me go take advantage. It's that people learn how to when you got to look at the shadow of things and understanding. I learned how to survive doing this. You understand? Uh Listen, have the conversation. If he's not answering back, all right? But you really got to understand a lot of things. When you understand a lot of things, all right, but when you got to understand the shadow, it learn how to live in that state. You understand? You have to have the conversation. You don't want to go around, all right? How long do I wait is the question here. But I could only, hey, Tara, all right? So basically, you got to understand it's about choosing instead of waiting, all right? You have to learn to choose. No more waiting. You have to choose. And when choosing feels final, all right? And that really could take you like, man, I'm going to keep moving forward. What about if they come back? All right? So you have to make that decision. You got to keep looking at what happened with different people. What role you always wind up in? Are you the savior, the outsider, the leader, the peacemaker? Okay, where do I feel unseen, but I keep showing up? The shadow, you got to wait, look, one thing I'm going to tell you, you got to look at your patterns, and the shadow's going to, it's going to try to be seen at the end of the day. All right? So you got to listen to your inner circle. So if you say, oh, well, I'm too needy, that is your shadow. It's unreceived needs. When you judge yourself as too much, that is suppressed power. You're giving too much power away. If you're too cold, that's the shadow protecting your tenderness. All right? What is your voice trying to protect you from? All right. So you're going to have to learn how to reframe, how to take your power back, and how not to repeat these patterns. All right. Track your patterns so you don't have to repeat them. Sit with yourself for a while. You know, there's a part of you that learned to survive. So we all going to be in the constantly of survive. All right. I think I gave you so much energy already, and I don't think that you really understand it. You got to understand some truths. All right. And when you learn how to understand truth, and especially when you get that 5 of cups, in any situation, what we're thinking about, what we're not sure about. Once you get to the 5, it's pretty much, it is that, it's a loss. How do I get over that loss? you know so when you sit with yourself, and what part of you learn to survive, and then you weigh and you think, you listen to yourself. You understand that the shadow isn't bad. It's just energy that learned it wasn't safe to be visible. When you understand that, and when you integrate your shadow, you become more honest, more boundary, and more free. Okay, you can look at yourself without abandoning yourself. So if you're not ready to do the work that is necessary for your relationship, once, of course, you have to have experience. Do you want to keep repeating the same experience? Because they're gonna keep showing up. All right, your shadows are not gonna go. They're very demanding. All right, you cannot leave your shadow out. And once you start to understand that, uh, your shadow isn't something that you find, it's something that you notice reacting, then you have a different approach. All right. So, over giving to avoid rejection. I see it here: withholding to maintain control, helping to feel needed instead of respected, waiting instead of choosing, confusing patience with self-abandonment. I see that here. So the shadow disguises itself. When I get that 6 of Pentacles, I already know. The shadow's disguising itself. It says, I'm being kind, but I'm depleted. I'm being patient. No, you're not. You're stuck. I'm being generous, but you're expecting something back. We have to be honest with ourselves. All right. I'm detached, but I'm avoiding vulnerability. I'm spiritual about it, but I'm bypassing the truth. So I'm not here to bypass the truth, and I'm here to give it to you straight. It's not, listen, what you don't want, but you need to understand what you need, right? And once you start the healing, if you're already healed, and how to move forward, and don't create any more new karma, pay the debt, because it's going to show up in the future. Unconsciously we do things, all right? And when you integrate the shadow, no more dramatic, very grounded, saying what you need once clearly, letting somebody respond instead of interpreting their silence like you're doing. Okay, releasing the role of the understood one, and everybody gets caught up with that. All right, you have to. This is your life. You know, allowing disappointment and writing endless hope with the 3 of Wands, choosing clarity over conflict. All right, this isn't about pushing them. It's about self abandonment. So you don't want to do that. All right, you want his love, man. I remember what's your sign? You got to be a real deep energy. What are you? You got to be a Pisces, or what was your sign? All right. What are you? Water? Fire? What are you? Got a lot of passion. Please don't tell me that you're an earth sign. All right. You want his love. I remember that. I was in the same situation. I was in the same situation from 90, wait, let me see. 97 to 2017. So, no, wait. 2008. I'll never forget that. I want his love. And then when you get it, eh. All right. You want his affection. See, oh, you're Sagittarius. Wow. Yeah, fire. Or I knew you would. I knew there's no way you could be Earth. Okay. There's no way. Yeah, you got too much passion. But you got to understand, he's the other opposite. He's the opposite. He's the same you. He's supposed to mirror you. This is what opposites. Yeah, yeah, I know, Lisa. Yeah, wow, you got a lot of passion here. You got a lot of, like, ooh, desire, you know. So your energy's not, you got to understand he is the opposite. How long you said you've been with him? All right. The truth, I'm going to give you here the truth that you may not want, but you need. Love that requires you to shrink, wait, or dilute your truth is not asking for more love. It's asking for self betrayal, and your soul is done with that. So you really got to understand that. Even if the universe is not going to push that through, because you have to learn a more general lesson, and you're going to have to learn to outgrow. There's things that you're supposed to outgrow when you move through these archetypes, and you like it there because you're, of course, there's patterns. We're going through these dimensions, which are not places, all right? They are states of consciousness. And I'm going to talk about that on tomorrow, about dimensions, states of consciousness, and how to, do I want to play that role again? All right. You don't fall in love with the person. You fall in love with the archetype. We get caught up with all that. All right. So, learning to deal with your shadow and what's underneath. You feel choosing yourself if it means losing the connection. All right. And if I'm gonna be the one that ends, you gotta end the waiting. So you have to choose. All right. If you feel like I'm gonna choose myself, that was gonna force truth, and the truth final. It feels final. All right. So no more split. No more split. You gotta learn how to integrate. All right. Hey, Black Hearted Way, Virgo, male here, 99. Oh, that's whose birthday is that? That's my niece's birthday. Okay, so you're going through divorce with Sagittarius, Scorpio, 1122. And a Scorpio? Oh, Scorpio, Sagittarius? Okay. Wife who's been with multiple men and women for years and our separation, which led me to date a Cap Aries, Virgo. Genevic, no, because I gave you energy before. Come back tomorrow, Genevic, because you're not understanding you have to go, you have to learn how to integrate your shadow. Do the work. I'm gonna share a little bit about me, so you go understand. Because I don't think once you understand that you need to no, maybe I don't know what the tarot cards don't tell you to walk away. They're showing you what's happening, and you have a choice. You're given fate once, all right, and then after that you're gonna keep, because the energy is old. You're gonna keep repeating the same cycles, knowing when to get off the cycle. When you get the devil, that means you knowing already. So when you see the devil, wow, you already know. You passed the choice, all right. You choosing one side. This feels good, so I'm gonna stay here. Oh, I'm going to choose this side. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to choose the bad or the good. No, you integrate both. All right? Oh, they're different women or separation, the Capricorn, the Aries, and the Virgo. That's a lot. Wow. They've got a lot of energy. All right? Anyway, so the universe will move anything forward for you, not to punish you, but because this is about a sovereignty lesson. All right? It's not a patient test. It's your sovereignty, your self-authority, And so when you understand, you got to understand so many different dynamics here. All right? You're not understanding that. You're going to keep going through the same thing. You got a choice. That's it. At the end of the day, you're standing at a choice. And then you go back to the strength card. And then from that strength card, you go to the judgment card. When does it stop? You have a choice. You got free will. Okay? You don't give, oh, here, I'm going to give you my life. You do whatever the hell you want with it. No. Okay? You don't do that. You could come in here and ask the same question over and over and go around in circles. Set them boundaries, respect your values, and don't compromise your beliefs for approval, for closeness, for chemistry. You already been, if you did it already, yeah, you have the experience. You're going to learn it the hard way or the easy way. It's up to you, but you're going to learn a more general lesson, all right? So the lesson is sovereignty, how to become self-sufficient, love myself, all right, which people, oh, I want them to love me, all right? I just hope that I'm not wasting my time on someone who just wants to use me as a doormat. Okay, John Muniz, let's go ahead with your question. All right. So listen, we could go around and around and around and around in circles. You're learning, you're expanding your consciousness, and that Three of Swords becomes a portal for new energy, a new door. All right, you get to the 4, you get the container, you stay there. All right, do I release? Again, it's asking you to release, to grieve, okay, or to be clear. Once you get to that 4 swords, all right, this is mental clarity. You know, the thing here is I'm clear on the decision and I'm going to move forward. The sword represents mental clarity. All right, and so the war here, you have to have it. If you don't, if you keep going around to what makes, oh yeah, you don't want to live in that fantasy, you know. You don't want to do that. You're living in fantasy. You want things to be grounded, rooted in love, respect, and because we're boundary challenged, we don't set those boundaries because who does that? We don't do it. This is why we're giving that opportunity. We're giving chances. All right. It's time to make it right for yourself, for your future self, for your higher self. All right. Your spirit is done with with the split. All right. So remember that your shadow lives where your nervous system flares up, and what you react is showing you something on owning yourself, and so it's not an identical behavior. So once you understand that your behavior come then, what you behave, do I come then quickly? That is what's showing you. Hey, Maria Morris. All right, I'm not teaching today. I want to do that tomorrow because then it feels like but I'm not doing. I want to give some. All right, tomorrow I'll be talking about the shadow without self judgment. All right, and no more spiritual bypassing. All right, we're gonna watch what triggers you, and we're gonna move forward. Hopefully, you get to see that, and remember that it reacts. Sometimes we don't see it until it reacts. Oh wow, I'm doing that again. Yeah, you gotta heal. You gotta heal. You gotta grow. You gotta integrate. No more being polarized, your integrity to act with your, being honest about your feelings, your needs, and your boundaries. Don't stay in relationships out of guilt, fear, or habit. All right? But if you want it, it's gonna keep showing up with other people. That's it. It's gonna keep showing up. You can run, but you can't hide. And so to evolve in love means that you stop accepting less than you deserve. You communicate instead of testing. And as you start valuing peace over, just because it's calm doesn't mean that's it. You did it already. When it gets boring. All right. So John, let's go. John, ask me your question. Genevieve, you asked how you been reading. This everybody can resonate because we are here to experience life. All right. So using your discernment, the ability to accurately perceive what is true without distortion, from fear, desire, ego, or your projection. Okay. It is not judgment with suspicion. It is not in the paranoia. It is in the clean seeing. All right. Using your intuition, your God give. All right. Let's see what's going on. I mean, I'll see if I see some 10 of cups here, The 9 shows up. I seen the 9, the 6. Do you want this person to come back? You want this person to come back, John? John Moniz. I'm gonna share a little bit of mine. All right, man, it's a lot. You see it? Ooh, it's a lot. I don't know. Let me see if I can break it down quickly. Maybe you guys could resonate with it. Well, not with me because it's too much. Let's see here. Yeah, man, you have to. I don't know. This is a lot. That was a lot. Oof. Like are you taking? Okay, I'm gonna tell you something to you. You give, but you expect something back. When you don't say what you expect back, it's gonna show up. Your shadows are gonna want you to want, because your shadow it learned to live hidden. It didn't speak. It only acted. You understand? So it's gonna get you to do the work. All right. So you got the 2 of Pentacles. All right. The King of Cups and all right. So you got the King of Swords in the back. You know, strategic. Let me tell you something. So here, being grateful. All right. First, practice gratitude. All right. The moon is gonna bring you split. All right, a split here. So things are split. How do I merge the good guy and the freedom? You know, how do I merge this? A long way. All right. So understanding the moon card. But here, look, you got this split energy between you because it's like this energy is all about carrying. You're carrying a lot of things here. Okay, you got carrying a lot of insight, strategy, decisions that you have to make, right? And just your responsibilities here. Learning how to leave people to their own responsibilities. You understand? If I'm being played, then I would take her back. If I'm not being played. All right. You know, one thing about the King of Swords, you know, the King of Cups, he's a loyal husband. All right. He's a father. He's a great husband. The children, you know, everything. You understand the energy of the emotional of it. All right. Not showing a lot of emotions, right? Or being swayed by emotions, even though things are turbulent. How do my handle my responsibilities, right? But when the King of Swords shows up, he's saying to use heart and mind coherence, not to avoid the difficult conversations that you must have. When you carry around, like leave other people to their own responsibilities. You don't have to carry around all the responsibility here. You know, when we be strategic, it's like that worked for you before, all right? Oh, you don't have any kids. I don't have it. All right, okay, so no problem because he's a father. All right, so then the moon. All right. See, one thing about the crayfish or the crab, right? He goes in, right? Could you be fertile? Could you be fertile? Because you got to understand, during the quarter moon, all right, the crab or the red crab goes and releases. This is going into sex. All right. Anyway, so it releases the eggs, and they come back a month. What? Come on, about a month later. All right. So the Two of Pentacles, when it shows up here, how do I handle my responsibilities? How do I don't carry everybody else's responsibility, but being strategic here because you are left a lot of the confusion. All right, but you got to understand how to use heart and mind coherent, how to balance the right and left hemispheres, like your masculine and your feminine side. Maybe you operating from one side more than the other. How to have logic and emotion together with this energy, because this is about being mental clear, but this is about being emotional too. Clear communication, right? And emotional. It's like you restrain your emotions here for whatever, or you either observe too much or you overgive. You understand? But how to have the balance here and being grateful that you're having this experience. All right. When you clear your way here, because emotional, of course, through the cycles of the moon, the phases, our emotions are going to change. People are going to grow situations and, people. So when you find your center, right, because you have to learn how to integrate this energy because there's something split here that you're not understanding really truly about yourself. So when you find your center, all right, it isn't about being motionless. It's about not being ruled by your emotions here. So the center is your self-respect, your boundaries, your emotional regulation, your sense of worth and independence here. All right? When you find your center, all right, between these two, because you're between these two. All right? You don't chase, you don't test, you don't manipulate, you don't withdraw, you don't punish. All right? When you off center here in love, does it feel like it's how does it show up for you? Anxiety, anger, or do you just shut down? You know, because your center starts to wobble here for some reason. All right, so you got to be really, really who's this? All right, so there's questions here. All right. So when you listen, the Seven of Swords is being strategic, and it's okay. But at some point, you have to have a level of surrender. When you surrender and when you integrate both parts of your state of consciousness, because this is being aware. When we hear with this the infinity symbol and trying to hold on to two truths, which one do I believe? Which one is more real? All right. Then being honest, then approaching the situation and even sitting with those things that are uncomfortable. I'm going to have to, at some point, address these issues Being strategic is good, but then in the end of the day, it's not so good because I'm avoiding things that I should approach, to be honest with myself, and having the patience to sit with things that are uncomfortable. All right. So, all right. So if you evolve here in love, you stop accepting less than you deserve. You communicate instead of testing your values, peace over drama. You recognizing red flags, discernment. You didn't chase chaos, okay, for chemistry. So that's what I'm seeing here. You want it, it's like this. I have to have chemistry here. When it's calm, there's something here that you're not understanding. Look at all this. All right? Look. You have too much heart and mind, but you don't have the grounded. You don't have that energy to really sit when it's uncomfortable. All right? So you might be asking about the person. This is why I don't take sides here. I don't take sides here. I don't do that. I don't do that. This is a possessive energy here. Not that I'm taking the lady's side, all right? But we really got to be really honest with ourselves and the things that we do. Um, when you start looking at yourself a little bit longer, a little bit better, dealing with your, right? When you return to your stable inner position, that's what this represents, all right? Well, not really, because then when this becomes possessive, this, the part of you that is grounded, clear, and not reacting out of fear. So what it is that you want to do here, all right? Do you communicate? Do you give love and support but expect the same in return? What are you doing here? Because it's going to ask you questions. It's just showing you what you're going through, all right? So how do I sit in gratitude? Because that Two of Pentacles came out, Do you act with integrity? Okay. Do you stay because of guilt? Do you make well? You don't have choices here right now. All right. This is willing to soar wisely, not violently. Looking at your core principles and acting with integrity, truthfulness, speaking honestly, clearly, and avoiding deception and manipulation or hiding important feelings. I could go on and on and on. Okay. So when you're really ready to look at yourself, when you align your actions with your values, your truth, your higher self, even when it's difficult or it's unpopular, because a lot of times we want now, yeah, all right? It's not about just doing the right thing for others, it's about being honest with yourself and letting that guide your behavior, without finding fault in somebody else. Oh, it's them. They're the crazy one, No, it's just about you taking care of you, mental, emotional, physical, all right? So you got the swords, you got the pentacles, you don't get the king of wands. Building confidence is here. It's because I didn't see any. You got to build confidence. How do I get my emotional container here when I find my center? So it goes into preaching at the end of the day. All right. So building confidence, trusting in yourself, more you respect your boundaries, the more the people's going to respect, And let me just leave you with a gratitude for the Two of Pentacles. When you balance your responsibility, you jungle your emotions and logistics, money. All right, there's money here. Okay. When you handle into priorities, work, love, other stability, the change, and being thankful that you can hold both. There's a gratitude for the dance. You will have to have this, So whatever ongoing flow, you appreciate for adaptability, trust that you can adjust those waves. All right. I'm grateful that I can move with life instead of being crushed by it. You're grateful for someone who meets you halfway, learning to appreciate the balance and act love requires. Thankful for your flexibility and rather than rigid, all right? Rigid expectations, because we can't put expectations on other people. When your shadow layer here is asking you, are you only grateful for because you're surviving this chaos? Because I've seen that energy, right, of the tower. Can I rebuild with what's left? There's a crack. When you can see the crack on it, can I rebuild from this? Not wanting to quickly, I want to rebuild, let's get back together, let's do it. It don't work like that, It doesn't work like that. So you really understand the tower card, but I don't have a lot of time to go into the whole energy. But or do you can you only feel gratitude even when things are slowing down? Yet you're gonna still keep the rhythm when it's rocky, bumpy, stormy, okay, even uneven, erotic. I could keep going on and on, but the bottom line is that, all right, how to use your energy, how to find your center, how to turn to a place of being stable, you know, and um, and that's hard for us to do because we are boundary challenged here. So there's still hope there because I seen the Four of Wands. Okay, who else got a question? I wanted to share a little something. That's it. Everybody, they listen. Genevieve, I'm not gonna give you. I don't. I'm not gonna give you no general reading. You've been here so many times. You got to pay attention. You don't have to. That's up to you. All right. So bottom line is when you with somebody, I'm gonna. I think the only way I'm gonna explain it, uh, and maybe a lot of you guys resonate with this. When you have, man, I will have to take this. Man, I don't want to be here so long, but I am. Let me take 1 minute. And I'll be right back. Maria, may I may I may I know, oh wait, may I what going to happen between, that's how I'm going to read it. May I what going to happen between me and my past partner and new partner. All right. Well, I'll be right with you. Let me give me a break. Let me go let my energy settle. Because at the end of the day, this always goes into, yeah, and so you should, yeah, Genevieve, it's okay. Hey, Jay Gatsby, help, help, help. You're welcome. All right. Um, Listen, it goes into preaching at the end of the day, but I'm gonna explain to you. If I explain a little bit about me, I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. All right, and so you can understand karmic and how to fix your karmic, and how not to get any more karmic. Do you have the capacity to hold polarities, right? That you could claim two opposing truths at the same time without collapsing into one side. All right, and that is emotional maturity. I'll be right back. Okay, let me see. Lisa, I am going to let go. Will he come back? Oh gosh, Lisa. Lisa, do whatever's in best interest of your heart right now. Genevieve, I'm gonna remove your. I don't think that you're here, Genevieve. All right, Maria Maras. May I ask what's going to happen between me and my past partner and new partner? Let's go ahead and see what's going to happen here. All right. Are you waiting too long for hope? Are you in that sharp energy? All right. Are you being honest, or are you trying to avoid something here? Are you overthinking your moves? Let's go ahead and find out. Either way, are you all in or all out? We're going to go talk a little bit about all in and all out. Okay. Either I'm going to be all in, secure, or I'm completely anxious. All right. That's black and white thinking. And reacting, actually. The capacity to have space between these two extremes. All right. When you have capacity, can I feel jealous without controlling? Can I feel attraction? Even if I have that? Am I sabotaging, the fear? So just, we're going to look a little bit of a lot in polarity. So before I go ahead here with Maria Maras, I wish I could stay with you guys, but I have to be leaving soon. I have to get ready for work and understanding a lot of things here. Then it'll start making sense. And love itself, it's a choice, right? When we nurture, when we care, when we give it truth and light, that's truth. That's awareness, right? To what we not expect, all right? But our standards, what we deserve. When we do that and we hold our values, we set those boundaries and we respect our values. I'm not compromising my core beliefs for approval, all right? For mutual respect and understanding. Now, I think I'm not going to share anything of mine right now. I want to share tomorrow because it's going to take too long. All right? So maybe you guys will understand how to clear your karma. See what karma looks like. Let's go ahead with Maria. May I know what's going on, what's going to happen between me and my past partner and new partner. Let's go past and your present future with your new partner. Here we go, Maria Maras. One more. Let's go ahead and set that frequency as we tap into the divine. One more. We must be aligned. And how does it feel, when we're stuck, frustrated, heavy, cynical, and constantly forcing outcomes, alignment with the highest vibrational frequencies of the universe, all right? And with the wisdom of the stars. And then I'll be talking about the stars as well to help you understand how critical this is past. All right, so there's still some communication. All right, this is future. 10 of Wands and 2 of Swords. Because I think here, there's still unfinished business with this person. I don't know if they're going to want to, even though you're going to feel complete with this person, like finally, right, I could move forward. All right. You're still going to have to deal with this here. You cannot close this. It's like you trying to close this out here with your past person. All right. There goes my alarm. So the energy is the 7 of Cups. Fantasy over reality. I don't see no grounding here. All right. I feel like consciously here, there's even though this offer is still going to be something that you don't want, because when the newness, right, you're going to start off good because it's something that feels like when you get the 10 of Wands, the energy, it feels old. All right. So even though the communication here, dealing with somebody that has a really wild side, the infinity, it's going to feel the same. You're still going to have the same problems with your new person here. All right. Fantasy over reality. So when you get to that 4 of Cups, do I have the capacity, right? When things get like bored, because everything, when it feels new, how do I keep it interesting? When I get bored with the excitement is over, right? So it's still going to feel the same. So it's not, you're going to have the same experience with the next person, because this is a clear energy here with the 3 of Swords. So this is asking you either to release something right here, be clear about what you want, because if not, you're going to have the same experience, which is going to lead you to the 4 of Cups. All right. So you go from 3, 2, 10, and 7. When you get to this energy, being clear about what you want, do I release? Right? Am I clear about what I want, or do I mourn? Do you mourn already? Okay. I have to go, and I'm going to stay to 5 more minutes. Okay. So there's going to be important decisions here. right? Because what is your conscious goal? I'm going to give you that as your conscious goal here. All right? Are you going to try to avoid, or you're going to, when it gets boring again? All right? When it gets boring again, what am I going, oh my God, I'm bored now. You know, I'm going to give it to you straight, Maria. All right? Because when this shows up here, it's about disengaging here. What is on your con? I'm aiming for something. I'm trying to get emotionally, or I don't want to get attached, or avoiding risky, opportunities here when it's conservative. I don't feel like you're very conservative kind of energy here. All right, but dealing with the truth, love is something that is held over time. All right. When I have all these emotions, that when things are boring, is your person boring? Somebody's more exciting and the other person's more boring. Okay. Lolo. They okay. So are they constantly working here? This is why you got the two. All right. I don't know if you can see the whole thing. All right. Let me put this here. All right. Why are they not communicating? All right. Hey, Rich, and he says, "Oh, little witch, how cute." Oh, okay. What are you trying to aim for here? Why you think they're not communicating? Why you think your partner's not communicating here? All right. So you gotta have to look at the novelty. A lot of us get addicted to novelty, and that's when everything's new and exciting, right? Maybe bringing in some toys. All right. So what are you planning to do here with this energy? All right. So it doesn't stay stuck. It don't feel like, oh God, I should have I'm still experiencing something. So you don't want to go from bad to worse. All right. Oh, you talk about Eric. So you're doing all the talking. What's his sign? What's your person's sign? I don't. I think they're trying to not to get too emotionally attached here. All right. I'm trying to avoid conversations that are going that contain the heart. All right. I like to get things that are maybe superficial. I don't know. Do you talk a lot about superficial things instead of going deep? Who goes deep? Oh, okay. I like to work things through. And he shuts down. All right. Yeah. Don't try to be. Don't go. Don't go too deep, because somebody here, they want to be superficial. Yeah. No, they're superficial. You gotta look at the rocks. All right. The rocks is being grounded and rooted. Okay. I understand things. Are they earth? They earth energy. I let all my feelings show. But it's gonna feel like it's gonna feel like it's boring, right? It's gonna feel like, I feel like I did this before. What sign they are? They either they air sign, fire sign. What is it here? Water shuts down fire. It gets the steam, but they make all right. They shut you down quickly. Okay. So what advice do you want here? Because you go to the 2, to the 3, to the 4. Different parts of you want different parts. Their parts are their personality. So I'm gonna carry both or nothing, right? So either I'm all in or all out with this energy. All right, I'm gonna leave. I see you guys tomorrow. Come, and so I could really talk about the energy here, okay? For you. You got to do the shadow work here before, because it's gonna bring you back to why do I keep showing up with the same kind of energy? All right, it's gonna feel the energy feels old. All right, we work things out. I mean, that 10 of Wands is a clear state. It's done. I feel good. I'm not gonna share a lot. That doesn't mean that it could be boring. That it's okay. It's just gonna be okay. You're gonna have to learn how to introduce new things, but eventually, little by little, it happens like that when it's new. All right. Then you go to the 3 because you're expanding now, right? The 3 is all about expansion of awareness. All right. When you reach a new mental high, then you go into the 4. So it's gonna be back and forth. I feel disconnected. I don't know, because you want something that's fiery, passionate. You don't have that there. All right. It's gonna feel like it's so familiar, and it could be a lot of sex. You know, you have sex with a person. But anyway, I gotta go. I want to stay a little bit longer, but I can't. I really gotta go. I can't give the best of myself when I have to go. All right, I love you guys so much. Thank you for the ones that showed up today. I appreciate you all. Tomorrow, I'll explain a little bit about when the karma shows up, when your past is calling you, when things start to resurface. What does the judgment energy feels like? What is it calling you to do? Make these important decisions, because it's not a passive kind of energy. And so this is a new level of consciousness, a new way of thinking. All right. This shows up in your life. Why? Why do I have to heal it? You know? And it's important for you to understand that energy. If you don't understand the energy, you're gonna get just gonna feel like, oh, this is it. No, this is not it. All right. You will improve things by communicating. Communication is key here, and expanding your awareness and using your discernment is the ability to accurately perceive what is true without distortion from fear here. So what's going to bring a lot of fear, desire, ego, and how you project, it's only your perception. So two people could meet and somebody really goes for it really, really deep, and the other person just, they have a different, you having a different experience. All right. It's all in your perception at the end of the day, and so, what needs to be said, how will I respond? And so things like that. All right. I thank you guys. Love you guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.